Yo, Todd here, Center Valley Customs. Welcome back if you're back. Welcome if you're not. I just got home the other day, Friday. It's Sunday now. From vacation with my wife for the last 2 weeks. We did a backpack train trip around parts of Europe. I can tell you where we went. I am gonna butcher the names of the cities, and I apologize. But we flew into Prague, Czech Republic. Then we went by train. Backpack by train, to Bratislava, Slovakia, to Budapest, Hungary, beautiful, highly recommended. Then to Zagreb, Croatia, that was okay. I can't even say the word of this city. Ljubljana, something like that. That's Slovenia. We went from there to Innsbruck, Austria, then to Liechtenstein, which is an itty bitty tiny country. I want to say it's like one of the third smallest countries in the world. Could be wrong. And then from there, we went to Switzerland. That was all by train. We ended up in Zurich. Now, we flew from Zurich, Switzerland, to Spain, Barcelona. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Because they had an eclipse, and my wife wanted to go see it. So we flew and then drove 3.5 hours southwest-ish, I think, to see an eclipse that lasted a minute at the most, and then turn around. And on the way back to Barcelona, it took us 5.5 hours. We got back to the hotel at 2 in the morning to find out that our flight home was delayed until 6 p.m. the next day. And yeah, so it was really nice. Everything was great. The eclipse, whatever. This is actually the second time I have traveled to go see an eclipse. Like a year or two ago, we went to Niagara Falls to see the eclipse there. They're cool, but I would rather spend money elsewhere than flying and traveling and driving and hotels and whatever else to see one. Just saying. And my wife is talking about going to Egypt next year to see that one. Not happening. Don't care about the eclipse. Definitely don't want to go to Egypt. Believe it or not, I used to travel a lot, like gone 80% of the time. I have been to, I actually wrote them all down from what I can remember. And maybe I'll put this in the comments. I've been to roughly, give or take, 30 different countries. Believe it or not. But yeah, I was actually supposed to be flying today to another country for a work trip. Luckily, that got postponed until next Saturday. So that gives us time to tear apart the 3800 that we pulled out of the Camaro in the last video. If you remember from the last video, this engine is supposed to only have like 30,000 miles on it. The previous owner actually bought a short block from O'Reilly and then took the heads off the old engine and stuck it on that short block. And right there is a reman tag. So that supports that, which is good. I took a little gander in the cylinders. They got a little bit of rust in them. When I ran this the last time, like I said, I used Carb Clean. That is not a good idea. It will wash down the cylinders. Especially don't do it and then just leave it sit for a year, because you just wash the cylinders down, so they're gonna rust. I sprayed some PB Blaster in there just to lube them up a little bit, even though we're gonna tear this all apart anyway. And that's what I'm gonna get into. So I am gonna start by pulling all the accessories off of this thing, get this wiring harness removed. I wanted to reuse this wiring harness, however, there's melted wires, there's wires taped, there's spliced wires here. I don't know, I already looked into aftermarket harnesses. They're like 500 bucks, which is, I think it's a lot for a freaking wiring harness. But I might be going that way just to simplify things and whatnot. So, like I said, I'm going to get a whole bunch of the accessories ripped off, get the wiring harness ripped off, bag it, tag it. I just got the Ziploc bags from my wife's thing, so she'll be looking for these and won't be able to find them. And I'll see you after a while. I loosened these up already, but I've yet to look inside. Please be healthy. Oh, thank God. That doesn't look terrible. That's a good sign. It's actually even still wet in here, which is kind of crazy, knowing that this thing has not ran and only God knows when. I like how this is essentially like an LS setup, and actually the cam kit that I buy for this is going to come with LS lifters, which I know they use in a lot of things, but it's essentially going to be a whole LS valve train in this thing eventually. Okay, well that's good at least. At least it looks nice in there. Take a look on the other side. That looks good. Just based off the looks of it anyway. I wonder if these are LS rockers and stuff. They look very, very, very similar. Was the LS built based off a 3800? I think I got all the bolts out of the intake, so if they did this right with some silicone, this should snap my snap this pry bar. Oh, did I miss some bolts? You don't think I have to take this off and there's going to be bolts inside there, do you? You know, everything's cast aluminum. Oh. Oh.
The bolts front and back, just on the side.
I don't know. I don't know if I gotta take this cover off and get inside here, if there's bolts inside there.
I mean, that seems pretty tight yet. Just silicone, you would have thought it would lift it off there.
You think?
Get it off.
Alright, I'm gonna try to take this top cover off, I guess. Take a look inside, make sure I didn't miss something. Which probably did. Well, I think I got all the bolts out of this top hat now. Yep. Okay. So now what's holding this on? Oh yeah, bolts in there. That makes sense. So if you ever take one of these apart, make sure you take this piece off first before you try to get the whole lower intake off. I don't know what you want to call it. Gasket's in good shape at least. Was. Let's just come off of here. Oh yeah. Take a look at that right there. Wow. One of the biggest downfalls of the 3800 are these intake gaskets. You can see this one is just destroyed. All of these are actually honestly just destroyed. Every single one of them. I mean, I don't know why. Junk, 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 junk. This is what kills 3800s apparently. Garbage. Got all the rocker hardware loose. I'm just going to go through and inspect the rockers and the push rods and make sure they're not wore in any sort of way. They should look nice and shiny and nice and round. If they are wore, I don't really know how to explain it, but instead of the push rod being nice and round, they'll be almost like an egg, like oblong. And you'll be able to tell right away that they're wore out. So you just want to make sure that they're nice and round, nice and shiny, and not wore out on either end. A lot of times if the push rod is wore out, so will the rocker end. So you'll have to buy a new push rod, new rocker. I don't know that we will be running these push rods or rockers, to be honest. I'm not sure what we're actually going to keep running on this valve train, but again, I'm just going to pull them all off, inspect them, bag them and tag them, and keep moving forward. Well, I got this side all tore off, and I got one here that's bad, and one here that's bad, and this one's probably on its way out. This camera sucks, so you're probably not going to be able to see this, but the tip of this push rod is nice and shiny and like polished, whereas this one is almost like brushed. That is a good indicator that they're wore. It's about time we go after these heads finally. Now, probably should crack these all loose with a breaker bar and whatnot, but I'm just going to go after them. I hope. I'm at least going to do it in like a circle. Okay, let's see how easily these come off of here. And then I'm going to get soaked with coolant. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll take a look at it. Taking a look at these cylinder heads. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not great. This would be the driver's side, so 1, 3, and 5. This would be the passenger side, 2, 4, and 6. 1 and 4 definitely got some moisture in there. They are crusty. Now, as long as the valves themselves aren't pitted, could just clean that up with the Scotch-Brite on a roll-lock. Wouldn't be a big deal. However, this is kind of the least of our worries because the cylinders don't look the best. Now, like I said, that's 1 and 4. 1 is down. 4 is down. So these pistons were obviously down. Maybe the valves were open. And if I had lifters in here, we could see if the valves would have been open or not, but at the same time, I don't know where this sat. This one piston, or cylinder wall, I should say, doesn't look good, but it actually feels fine. I mean, it's not the best, but like I said, it feels all right. It's not pitted, it's no ridges, nothing like that, so that's good. These two are fine. This one's fine. This one's fine. This one, however, is not. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't look as bad as number 1. But here, right here, it is pitted pretty bad. I mean, to the point that This is not going to happen. Sorry, I can't get my light in there to where you can see it, but this is pretty bad. Now you would think, okay, whatever. Just have it bored out and buy new pistons and call it a day. I would. However, this is already a reman engine and it has already been bored 0.75. Now that is metric millimeters, which is equivalent to about 30 thousandths. So it's already been bored out. It already has oversized pistons in it. According to the internet, you should not bore a 3800 over 30 thousandths. And I couldn't even find pistons that were bigger than 30 thousandths over bore pistons. Whatever. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't really know what to do at this point. Part of me just wants to just let this thing eat and just say, whatever, we'll just hone her out and just let her ride. But if I'm going to go spend thousands of dollars to rebuild this, it's going to be right. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what I want to do at this point. If I just scrap this whole 3800 idea and take the LS that was already on this engine stand, or I go and find another 3800. Well, I decided I'm going to pull this oil pan off of here and see if I can at least get, what is going on here? See if I can, ugh, that looks nasty. Set it over there. Anyway, oh, this is like a windage tray all built into an oil pan thing, whatever, gasket. Anyway, for the 13th time, I was going to try to maybe get this one piston out of here so that I can just try to hone that cylinder and see if it's going to get any better. It's not. I'm just going to say that right now. This is pretty much junk at this point. But regardless, it's kind of just more or less for fun. So, where'd my crescent wrench go? No idea. Holy Jesus. Oh. Oh. Well, bearings look beautiful. I mean, like, absolutely beautiful. I'm curious if this crank, if any of these rods or mains have been machined at all. I'd like to pull one of these bearings out because I think on the back side of the bearing it might tell me. But for now, I'll just set this to the side. Ooh. There we go. What the f was that? I don't know what that was. Something fell. Try to do this without hitting the crank. Set that down there. Looks like the oil rings are stuck and full of crap. So if I would have ran, would have it smoked if the oil rings are stuck. I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's flip this thing over, run a hone through it quick, just for fun, and see what happens. All right, so here's the deal. I got that piston out. I got this cheap, crappy cylinder hone thing. Honestly, I prefer the dingle ball style ones, but I don't know why I have this one. This is a bad idea. You should not do this on an engine that has half the stuff still in it. You should do this with just a bare block. However, my assumption is this is just all going to be garbage anyway, unless, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this actually turns out pretty good. I doubt it though. Before you do this, you want to lube it up. So I just got some oil. Some people use WD-40 or PB Blaster or whatever. I prefer to use engine oil. So I'm just gonna, lube the cylinder up here. And then once I do that, now I'm gonna feed this in here. Dingle ball ones, you'd squeeze the trigger and then just run her in. This style, you can't do that. Okay, so we're in. Now I'm just gonna give her. Well, I've tried honing this more times and for longer than I normally would, and it's still pretty bad. I mean, I can feel it with my finger. Generally, they say if you can catch it with your fingernail, it's too much, and I can feel that with my finger. So, I don't know what to do. I keep trying to think of ways in my head where, it's not that bad, but it is that bad. So, I don't know what to do, but I'm done for the night, and I'm going to think about it overnight, and either tomorrow we're going to have an LS in here, or tomorrow I'm going to find another 3800. We'll see. Good afternoon. As you can see, got myself a new power plant here. When I found the scoring and pitting in that cylinder, my vision just went gone. Everything come to a screaming halt. I also said if I don't have a solution by tomorrow, we're going to be building an LS. I lied. That was like 4 or 5 days ago already. I've been on the marketplace looking for a 3800 like you would not believe. I feel like months ago, I could find them a dime a dozen. This time, not at all. The other night, I actually decided, I think I'm going to build a full-blown 5.3 LS 100% out of Temu parts. I had a cart filled and ready to hit checkout. It was like $1,000. Well, the next day, Travis texted me, and he goes, hey, Derek at work has some 3800s, he'd sell you. Okay. I actually thought when I went there today, I was going to get a naturally aspirated engine because he said I got this one for $250, these ones for $450, $500, blah, blah, blah. I walked in this guy's garage, and I'm not kidding you, he had about 13 LS motors, about 7 of these 3800s, like the whole garage was full of engines. I ended up settling on this one, $250. It's out of a 96 Pontiac Bonneville SSEI, whatever that means. So this would be an L67 apparently. It apparently has 80,000 miles on it. Now that's what he was told. So, you know, this is one of those, he got this from a guy that got it from a guy that got it from a guy that had it in a car that was T-boned. But I think we can take a little walk around this because there's a couple things that are different that we're going to have to get by. There's really only one thing that I know of that I'm going to have to try to figure out. But let's walk around it. I did give this a good power wash before bringing it in here. It did have a bunch of oil and gunk and stuff caked on it, but it cleaned up extremely well. I can tell you just by looking at this from the outside, it is going to be a far better engine to start with. Not only because it's supercharged, so we get a lower compression ratio, but because every little piece of hardware is not rusted out. On the other one, half the bolts didn't even have flats on them anymore. So that will make it easier right off the bat. Now this did come out of a front wheel drive car, so we may have to figure out if this oil filter adapter is going to be better or the other one that comes straight out. This one makes a 90. You can always swap this out. That's easy. One thing we will have to figure out is this is supercharged. I want to run turbo. So I am going to run my old intake, but on a supercharged engine, all the injectors go into the head, whereas the naturally aspirated go into the intake. So we're probably going to have to plug the injector bosses on the intake because I think it would be better to run these heads versus the heads on the naturally aspirated engine. I'm sure these are going to be in way better shape. So we'll have to figure that out. Fuel rails we'll have to figure out because obviously we're not going to have a supercharger anymore. So I don't know if this whole ordeal is going to work. ZZP sells different fuel rails, but they are pricey. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do there, but we'll figure it out. I think the flex plate was different, which I have the old one, so we can use that. I think that's kind of it off the top of my head. This has this style map sensor, which is, I believe, a 3-bar, which would be better for turbo, whereas the other one is probably a 1-bar. I'm not 100% sure. This is locked right tight, so I will need a water pump, which regardless, when you build a brand new engine, putting a water pump on is just a good idea. I don't have an alternator because my old one is seized up and this did not come with one. We'll have to figure out if we want to run our coil packs here, if we want to run them on the side, if we want to just put them somewhere else. Not sure yet, but yeah, this is what we got to work with now. I think it's going to be better. I am happy that we're starting with the supercharged engine versus an NA engine. That makes me extremely happy. And I'm extremely happy that I got this thing for 250 bucks. Also, we get a supercharger now. Now it does have some slop in here. Apparently there is a, I want to say Lovejoy, some sort of connector thing. I can't remember what you want to call it. Call it? No. Whatever. There's something in here that needs to be replaced because it is loose. Maybe in the future, we might stick this on an LS. It will take some work, but I think we could do it. I see guys cut this part off and then they like 90 this. I'm not sure. That's a thing for another day. But I want to start getting this thing tore down. So it's already 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to start by just pulling all the accessories off, try to get the supercharger off, get the valve covers off. We'll take a look at the push rods and the rockers again. I was debating if I wanted to pull the heads to put new head gaskets in it. Everybody says leave them alone. Don't touch it. Don't touch the bottom end. Just leave it alone. But I feel like if I'm in it this far, I should probably replace the head gaskets. And they're cheap, so I'm probably going to. So, tonight, time lapse, because it's late, and I just want to get this thing tore down so I can get some parts ordered. Well, I'm down to the nitty gritty here. Everything looked pretty good. Obviously that intake gasket was junk because they always are. I'm going to inspect these rockers and push rods now. Oh, and that's what I didn't want to see. So essentially, I kind of explained this, but I didn't explain it before, is your push rods should be nice and polished. More or less, if they look like they're brushed, they're wearing. And of course, if the push rod's wearing, it's going to wear on the rocker also. If you were a serious engine builder, you would just drop your tools on the floor. You would probably not mix up rocker to push rod. Anytime you have metal on metal, they wear together. So when you start mixing them up, bad things happen usually. I don't care because I'm probably going to use different push rods, and based on how these push rods look and the rocker looks, I'm going to need new ones anyway. So this one's brushed. Maybe they're always like that. I'm not sure. On these engines anyway, I'm not sure. Whoa. Yeah, these all look the same. They all look like they have that brushed look, which to me, I think is wearing. Not good. Does it really matter in this case, seeing as I'm going to need different push rods? No. Yeah, these all look the same. Yeah. This side's nice and shiny. Junk. Junk. So every single one of them looks the same, whether that's good or bad. I think bad. They should be nice and polished, shiny like that. So now with your lifters, you want to look at them. If you can get them out. If they don't come out, do not force them out, because they will score the bore. Wow, I can't get these out. Now you want to look at the roller and make sure there's no chunks out of it, which would indicate that it spun or that the roller bearing seized up. Now, what Derek was telling me was that a lot of people have been having issues with like the LS7 style lifters. So he claims if all the lifters are good, he would reuse them. He would not use new LS7 style lifters because people are having issues with them. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably use new lifters, to be honest. But yeah, so I'm going to pull all these out. We might as well pull the heads, seeing as we're right here. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts that hold the head on. And then we'll take a gander in the cylinders, see if we actually got a good deal or not. Alright, I got all the head bolts out. So now it's time to get wet. Oh boy. That one's on there apparently. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. Perfect. Perfection. Cylinders look beautiful so far. Oh yeah. Beautiful. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Heads are off. They look pretty good. They all at least look the same, so it looks like everything was burning just fine. Cylinder walls, well, to be expected, are perfect. I did look inside here before I bought it, so they better be good. But yeah, this engine looks pretty damn healthy. Perfect. Tomorrow we will pull that front cover off and get the cam out. I suspect there's a lobe that might not be too happy. We're replacing the cam anyway, so we don't care. But it is 11:30 at night. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I need to wash my feet because they are full of coolant and dirt and oil and shit. So, see you tomorrow. Good morning. Yesterday, I had some obligations to attend to, which I thought was only going to take a few hours. Ended up taking all day long. Before I went and did that, I figured, hey, I'm going to try to get at least something done. So I got the water pump off, and I was going to pull this balancer off. Well, the water pump, I knew it was seized up and junk, but I wasn't expecting to see all of this in there. So that's good. Set that over there. So then I moved on to the balancer. I got the center bolt out. That was easy. On the other engine, I noticed there was goop on here, like RTV, and there's some on this one too. That's kind of confusing. I don't know why you need RTV on the backside of that bolt, but it is what it is. Then I thought to get this balancer off, maybe you put a puller in here. No, that isn't correct. I looked up a YouTube video, of course, and apparently it takes 1/4 by 28 bolts that go through these slots into some holes so you can pull this off. If you think I had these bolts, you'd be wrong. So I went and got some, and I'm sure these threads in here are going to be all rusted up. Of course, they're fine threads, so I don't have a tap either. Not 1/4 28. But that's kind of to the point we're at. I got my puller here. That'll go on here. And then these bolts should go through here into those threaded holes. And then you turn this and it pulls it off. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do. First, I'm going to attempt to get a bolt into every single hole. Like I said, because they're probably going to be all crusty. Luckily, I bought, you need 3 bolts, obviously, 3 holes. I bought like 5 bolts, so if I screw one up, or maybe I'll take my grinder actually and just cut a little slot in here and more or less use this as a tap. That probably won't be a bad idea, but first I'm just going to try to thread them in. This may take a while, especially because I can't see in there. Actually, that one's going in. So I'm going to try to run these in as far as I can and then pull them out, obviously, and put the puller on. Whoa, easy, killer. Got all the bolts to thread into the holes. That actually went pretty smoothly. This bottom bolt is right on the very edge of this slot, which I think is weird. Now, I can't just put this on here like so, because this pushes on the balancer, and then the bolts would be pulling on the balancer, so you're pushing and pulling on the same damn thing. Does not work. So I center punched a center punch in this bolt that I'm going to try to just thread this in here, and hopefully this point will stay centered on there. Is that going to work? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to say probably not. So I'm just going to leave, I don't know, 1/2 inch there after 1/4 inch. Put this on here, and hopefully my bolts are long enough, which I can tell you right now they won't be. Not a chance. Okay, well, maybe we'll get lucky. I don't know. Let's just give it a whirl and see what happens. That bottom bolt is not in at all. I should have started with this one. That's probably what I'll do. I was threading that in the wrong hole. Okay, well that's good at least, I guess. Okay, I got this on here better. Apparently that one bolt that I said was all cattywampus, I had it in the wrong hole. Those things will happen from time to time. So now, hopefully, I can just crank on this. Ooh, and I'm probably going to have to try to hold the motor. Hopefully this should all just come out of here. Is it moving? Can't tell. Yeah, I think it's going. Oh yeah, she's going. Okay, unfortunately, now I gotta move my bolt out. I'm gonna run out of threads real quick on this. Hoping it'll get to a point where it'll just pop. Oh boy, my wife and ladders, that is a recipe for disaster if I could ever tell you. Okay. Try to run these bolts out a little bit. Hey, I think she just popped. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, it's an 84 Z28. Okay. We got our crank sensor tabs here that go in between here. Huh. Neato. Neato mosquito. Okay, get rid of this plastic cover thingamajinger that we can just probably throw right in the garbage. Actually, it looks like it just pops off. There we go. Perfection. Okay, I think this is full of oil, so I'm going to drain the oil out, and then I'm going to pull the oil pan because the oil pan bolts into this front cover. And once I get that done, then we can go ahead, pull this front cover off, and get the timing set out and pull the cam out. I'll probably take this off, seeing as I loosened it already and got oil all over my hands. Should be all right. Well, a couple things. There's a lot of water coming out of here. I'm just going to assume that's from me pulling the heads off and power washing it. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. And the second thing is whatever this bolt connects to on the inside broke. So I can't get the drain plug out now. So I think I'm just going to let this cook for a while all this water comes out of the oil pan. And then we're probably going to have to drop the oil pan with the plug in it. This is going to take quite a while. Wow, I really wish this water would stop coming out of here. Makes me feel good. Oh, now we might be getting some oil now. Just kidding. So I'm just going to let this drain like this for a while, so I don't have to drop this full of oil, water, whatever is in there. Perfect. Anytime now. I just took this float level sensor thingy-majinger out of here. So we'll just use that as the drain plug. That's better. Oh, except for my can is not level. Let's see what we got in here. Yeah, that oil pan bung thing broke, but no sludge. So this actually looks really good. That is good to see. Probably because there's enough coolant and water and everything in there to rinse it out. It's kind of cool how they have this like windage tray thing built into the oil pan gasket. We will set ours right here in the trash can. Everything in here looks pretty good. Now this is the part that everybody apparently says, do not touch this. Oh, Mustang. Pretty nice looking, actually. Really nice. Sounds good, too. Anyway, this is the part everybody says do not touch. So I am not going to touch it. I'm just going to assume that all of our bearings are good. My initial plan on the other engine was to literally tear it all the way down. And if it needed bearings, I was going to put bearings in it. We're just going to hope that they're good on this one. Whether that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, I'm going to do what everybody else says. Not all of them. I feel like I'm missing something down here. It's just a dowel. There we go. Looks nice and clean. Oh. Alright, I'm going to start by taking this little tensioner off. I think I just stripped it. Probably need a socket. Oh, right there. 888. Okay, that's good. It's got, this must be the, for the cam sensor, I guess. Make sure we clean that up good. Pull that big bastard off. How am I going to hold this while I try to get this off? Could just try to ugga-dugga it off. I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay. Something I want to be mindful of when I pull this apart is just timing marks. I see there's a dimple here, which would make me assume there's going to be one on this bottom crank, pulley, sprocket, whatever. I see we got a dimple here and a dimple here. And this is keyed, and so is this. So this and this can only go on the cam one way. So then as long as I line up that dimple to that dimple, we should be good up there. And this dimple to this dimple, we should be good. Okay. Just want to, you know, make sure I know what I'm looking at. I don't know. Set that on my Menards bag for now. This is also keyed. Oh, there's our dimple. Good. We'll be going with a double roller setup on this. And then this can come off, I would assume. Okay. That will be for our balance shaft. Sure. And we do have a cam retainer thing here that is held on by 2 Torx we'll have to pull off. Okay, here we go. Try to do this as easily as I can without beating up my bearings. Ooh. Oh boy. Come on. Oh boy. Oh, there she went. Where's the rest of it? Yeah, I'm just kidding. Ah, yep, I was right with that one cam lobe. Ooh, a couple of these cam lobes. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and I'll show it to you. Well, here's our cam. They should look like this, nice and smooth. However, we got a couple. This one is all chewed up, along with this one is all chewed up. Now, I don't know why. I can't tell you how that happens besides for a lifter spinning. But it's weird that this one's chewed up and it's aiming straight up, and so is this one. So I don't know why that is, but I don't know, kind of weird. But we don't care. We're going to be replacing this, so we'll just throw this in the bin over yonder for now and wait for a new one to come. That's as far as we're going to take this thing down. There's no reason to go any further. Everybody says leave the bottom ends together, don't touch them. That's just what I'm going to do. I don't have any experience in 3800s, so if you do, please comment. I will take whatever knowledge you have and read it at the very least. Am I going to do everything? Probably not, but at least I'll know what I should have done. I am super happy that we ended up with an L67. This was the engine I said right off the bat. We really should be starting with a supercharged engine. And that's what we got here. It sucks that I had to pull an engine and transmission out of a car, clean it up, get it in here, tear it down to find out it was junk, and then we end up with an L67 in the end. Whatever. Things happen for a reason, and at least I got a transmission out of the other setup that we will need and we will use. This engine, everything looks really good. Cylinders look great. That cam was, I would call it junk, but we don't care. We're going to be replacing it. Push rods, rockers. I'm going to do a little bit of investigation. I'm pretty sure I need to get different push rods regardless. Rockers, I'm not positive. I'm going to look and see how much aftermarket ones cost, and maybe we'll go that route. Maybe we'll go with a bigger ratio. Not really sure yet. Bottom end in this thing, I did take a look at it just by visual. Looks fine. Everything looks great under there. Honestly, I think we made a good move somehow, some way, accidentally, whatever you want to call it. So that's what it's going to be. I'm going to order some ZZP performance parts, cam kit, and whatever else I think I can afford. It's going to get expensive. I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad we stuck with the 3800 route instead of going with an LS, because I really didn't want to build an LS. I wanted to do something different. And everybody hates seeing LS swaps because they're terrible and whatever else. But my opinion, they're probably the best running engine out there. Cheap, reliable horsepower. Can't go wrong with an LS. So that's what it is. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all the crap. See you in the next one.